Hi, this is Jason with Violator Comics Collectibles coming at you with another toy review. And this time we're taking a look at the Star Wars The Phantom Menace Darth Maul Sith training figure. And this is from the Star Wars Saga toy line from 2002, and he is number 42 in that series. So the first thing we're going to do is take a closer look at the packaging. So take a look at the packaging. Pretty standard Star Wars Saga line packaging. I'm not a super big fan of this look, but this is the way they did look. This is the toy line that came out with Attack of the Clones. They did not have a specific toy line that was just called Attack of the Clones, like they had Episode 1, Phantom Menace, and what you saw with Episode 3. They basically released a bunch of other figures as well, and they had like a sublines in each one where they had like the Phantom Menace, they had Return of the Jedi, and you had like a Darth Vader figure or Luke Skywalker figure. So this is technically the Attack of the Clones toy line, but it's called, the Saga series, so that's why I'm calling it Star Wars The Phantom Menace, because this is the Phantom Menace Darth Maul in the Saga series. So this is the toy line that came out during Attack of the Clones. But great looking picture of Darth Maul. This looks like something that they took in Episode 1 and then they just doctored it up to kind of make it look like this Sith training robe that they designed with the red on it, which actually looks really, really, really cool. I do like that. It says Darth Maul Sith Training, The Phantom Menace. You have a really nice look of the Darth Maul figure with the, the Saga series packaging. If you go to the back, it basically just gives a generic synopsis of Episode 2, and it also says Darth Maul, he's 02 and number 42, so it came out in 02 and this is number 42 in the series. So it does say that the chosen apprentice of the Sith Lord Darth Maul has undergone years of demanding and sometimes brutal training in order to become a Sith. After expertly wielding his lightsaber to prove his skill, he bows respectfully before his master. So this is one of those kind of taking liberties figures where it's, it's not a direct Episode 1 figure. It's something that would happen a little bit before Episode 1, but they wanted to put it out there because he's a very popular character. Now this is the toy line where they put the action back in action figures, what they kind of coined the phrase, and you can see like he has a kind of a little feature where he has wheels on his back that you can spin his back, and they show that on there. They also show some other toys in the toy line, which I actually like. I love when toy packaging actually do that. I hate when it's just, there's nothing on the back or it's a big advertisement for, a specific device or something like that. But not too bad. This guy looks really, really cool, and let's get him opened up. So taking a look at Darth Maul, this is probably one of my favorite Darth Maul figures visually. I mean, absolutely stunning. I really like the red on, with black. I think that's really cool the way they did that red trim. I almost wish they would have maybe done this in the movie. It might have been a little bit out of place as far as, the Sith and how they've been doing the Sith and just move the Sith on, from that movie on. But I think this looks absolutely stunning. I mean, when you look at this figure, it just looks absolutely amazing. He does come with this little droid, which has a little stand here. You can hold him up. It's kind of clear. It does move, and you can just stick him on there, which is, it's an okay accessory. We'll take a closer look at him in a little bit, but obviously Darth Maul is going to be the main feature here. Now, this is the toy line where they want to put the action back in the action figure, so he definitely has some action moves. They also kind of have him in more of an action pose. This is one of the poses that's actually doesn't really restrict the figure too bad, which I do like. He does have it like his cloak is blowing, but I think it actually makes him look really, really cool, especially with that red trim on there. He does stand on his own. I might use the stand a little bit later just because when I'm fiddling with him, it is kind of hard to get him to sometimes because if you move his arm in different positions, it shifts the weight. But he's got quite a bit of articulation, much different than a lot of the other ones. So he moves his head. His head moves. His arm moves. It also rotates right before the bicep. Or right at the bicep before the elbow. His arm moves up and down. His arm does also rotate here, which is part of the feature. So it moves up and down. So it's kind of got the stiff arm move. And then his leg bends at the weirdest angle down here just to help with his standing. His leg does also move up here and also right there. And same thing, he has this weird rotation right here. This actually has two joints right here. You can kind of see that piece moves. This is attached to here, and it moves here and at the leg. So you can definitely helps you stand in this the same way at the other one. So he's got like weird points of articulation in the leg. I guess it's just to help him stand based on the weight shifts because of his arm pose and stuff like that. But I mean, the other thing that's absolutely phenomenal with this guy is he's got, just like with the other Episode 2 figures in the Saga series, he's got that metal lightsaber, which is just... it makes it look beautiful. And the cool thing is, like I said, with all these figures, these blades can come off, which is cool, but it's also kind of scary because you can definitely break this really, really easy. But you can just have his hilt, which is really cool. But let's take a closer look at him. Take a look at his face. I mean, the detail on his face is just stunning. I think they did a great job with it, and it really makes the figure pop with those red stripes and stuff like that border all the different accents of his outfit. I mean, it's even in his fingers and his gloves and goes onto the gauntlets. I mean, they did a great job making this figure look amazing. Like I said, I almost wish Darth Maul looked like this in the actual movie. I mean, great attention to detail. Now, the horns are kind of softer. They're not spiked all the way just because this is an action figure for little kids. But look at the molding in the ear. I mean, they did a great job with this figure. And then you go on the back. Probably the biggest downside is going to be these wheels here, which are used for the action, which I'll show in a little bit. But as far as detail, absolutely stunning. And here you can see that bottom part of his tunic spread out. It just looks really, really nice. His nice metal lightsaber, like I said, it's really cool. There's actually a magnet on his hand that holds it. It holds it pretty well. You'll see it kind of has some issues because of how heavy it is when you do the action feature. You can spin it off. But like I said, you can actually pull these blades off, which is really cool. I think that's a cool touch. Like I said, these metal lightsabers are the coolest. Like, you almost want to get one of these figures, and if you really like one of the Episode 1 toys, display it with one of these lightsabers because it's just a much cooler looking lightsaber. Like I said, and it's metal. Visually it looks great, and then it works with these features as well. And same thing, backside, you can see, he's got that tunic moving like he's in like some kind of action pose, as well as those little features in the back, which we're going to show off right now. So he essentially has two wheels. They both control this one arm. And you'll see that right now. So the wheel closest to his right shoulder, which is actually on his right shoulder, when you rotate that actually, if I can get it to do something, there we go. It moves his arm up and down. Let's kind of get your nails in it. This is a new figure, so he's definitely tight. So you can see it moves his arm and it rotates it around right there at this shoulder blade. And then as we move this one right here, which is on his left shoulder blade, we'll take a look and see it actually rotates. And I just popped it off because of the way that I was holding the thing. It rotates it right at the edge of his gauntlet, so he can spin his lightsaber like that. But you can see, like I said, with that magnet, you spin it, you can make it fall off real easy. Because of the lightsaber is so big, you definitely have that problem where it's kind of loose. I mean, it works if you go slow and see how it holds it on there, but if you go too fast, it flops it off. Let's take a look at Obi-Wan's lightsaber. A little bit lighter of a lightsaber we put it on there, and we'll rotate it again, and we'll see it. We're going a lot faster. And you can see it's just because of the weight of that hilt. This is not flying off, and it flies off eventually, but definitely it's more because of how heavy this lightsaber is. and the hilt is. You can even feel it when you try and put it in his hand, that you have a hard time putting it in his hand. But I mean, the action feature in this guy is actually pretty cool. Some of these are absolutely cheesy and dumb. I don't like them, but I definitely think that this one's kind of worth it. And it doesn't really restrict his overall articulation and the way he stands. Like I said, you can get him in a good pose. You can have him with his arm kind of close. You can have him with his arm gripping up. I mean, and his legs don't really affect the way he stands, other than giving him a squattier pose as far as the height's concerned. Here we have that droid, and like I said, it's just nothing too much, just a standard little stand, doesn't really do anything. And you have the little droid here. That looks cool. I mean, it's a nice little touch. There's a little probe droid, and you can just pop it in on the stand, and you can have it stand behind him. And it's just supposed to look clear, so it kind of makes it look like he's floating. And I think they did a decent job with the accessory. They didn't have to add that, so that's kind of an extra nice touch. And for size comparison, here we have two of the figures in the Saga series. We have the Phantom Menace, Darth Maul on the left, and then we have the Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Coruscant Chase on the right. You can see they're basically the same size because they're both in that kind of squattier pose because they're in that action move pose. But I mean, so they'd basically be the right size if they were to stand up. So you can see when they're both squatting, they're about the same size. And here's we take a look. We'll put an actual, this is the Force Awakens Kylo Ren. You can see, you know, they'd be about the right size if they you know, were up together and not squatting with their knees. But, you know, really great figures. Like I said, you know, some of these toys in the Saga series I just absolutely dislike quite a bit. I don't have a ton of these figures because of that, because I just think they look so terrible. This Darth Maul is one I've had for a while, and I've wanted to open him up on camera for a while, and it's definitely worth it. Like I said, he looks amazing. This red, you know, that's on the outside of the black just looks absolutely stunning. That metal lightsaber, I mean, everything about it. The action move does not really restrict the figure and make it, you know, have really bad issues, other than the heavy hilt. That double-bladed hilt is really heavy, but it still functions good and works good, and I think kids would actually have fun playing with it, or just having this guy on your shelf to display it. Like I said, it's one of the best looking Darth Maul figures, if not the best one we have, you know, total, you know, even since now all the other toy lines have released. But once again, this has been Jason with Violator Comics Collectibles. Any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time.